Maseches Nazir Daf Mem Beis. The Gemara says, "V'kulam if they megaleach without a tar or they left over to Cyrus le'osiv klum." The Mikdash David points out an interesting chiddush that since the mitzvah of Giluach HaMitzorah, only if you leave over two Cyrus le'osiv klum, however, if you leave over one sar, it's a mitzvah of Giluach Mitzorah. Then when you have a nazir that's Mitzorah, that you can galech, because the Esedei Chalaisa say you can't be megalech the leah sar, because since you can mekayim the mitzvah of Giluach Mitzorah without the leah sar, you have no right to be over the Isser of Giluach of a nazir with the leah sar, because you mekayim the mitzvah even without the Giluach of the leah sar. And he says it's similar to mitzvahs yibum. That's important traces nivamis daf chof, that even if there be a Esedei Chalaisa say on mitzvahs yibum, on tchilas bia b'soif bia, since there's no mitzvah, it wouldn't pass Esedei Chalaisa say. However, the Minchas Chinuch is mavur, not like the Mikdash David, he's mavur, that even though you can mekayim the mitzvah without cutting the last hair, nevertheless, even the last hair is included in the mitzvah and therefore passes Esedei Chalaisa say. I in the Sefer Nesivei Das, on the bottom of Mikdash David, that says the Machloikis, Mikdash David. And Minchas Chinuch is totally in tremendous chakir of Bochanan, Kovetz Orez. If a kiyum mitzvah passes Esedei Chalaisa say, so then even the last sar, which is not ma'akiv, nevertheless it is included in the kiyum mitzvah, so therefore it could be doicha. However, if you learn you need a chiv in the mitzvah, so then you can't be doicha with the last sar. Ein Shurim, Yevamas daf ches and Yevamas daf chof, that l'chor is totally machloikis, Rishonim. In Yevamis, the Gabi Gemar Bia, Taisis is Mavur, the Gemar Bia is not Deicha. However, the Ramban and the Ritva is Mavur, even Gemar Bia has Dechi and the Chor, it's totally in the same Machloikis, if a Kiyah mitzvah is Deicha. However, by Yibum, you could say a different Mahalach, like we mentioned in Shurim and Avchav, that the Shaila is totally in the Gedder of the mitzvahs Yibum. If the mitzvahs Yibum is the Kinyan, and you're Koine Betchilas Bia, so the Soif Bia is not Shaykh Bechlal to the mitzvah, Mashinkin over here, the entire Giluach, even the last here, is included in the mitzvah of Giluach. And be'emes yesh la'ayin oid, that could be it's not totally in the Shaila. If a kiyum mitzvah passes Esedei Chalaisa say, because be'emes over here, you could dan that the Shaila is that we, according to what we spoke out in the Shir Naflamates, that even on the beginning of the cutting of the hair, even though it's not yet nigma the mitzvah passes the Chalaisa say, and B'chon says it's the beginning of the Maisa mitzvah. There's two ways to understand that the beginning of the Maisa is the pshat, that the chelik of the Maisa, even before the kiyum could be doich itself, or it's a svarim beidna. The batzim, the kiyum mitzvah is what's doicha, but even the Maisa mitzvah is meishich shayich to the kiyum mitzvah, and it's considered be'inna, and the same time as the kiyum mitzvah to be doicha. So if you learn at that mahalach over here also, you could say that even though you already mekayim the mitzvah when you cut the second to last hair, but the last hair also is part of the Maisa mitzvah and stel sich zu to the ikar mitzvah to be considered be'inna, to be doicha. Another point it's important to point out that according to what we mentioned the Shir Le'el Daf Mem Aleph, that Sameach is mechadish, that there's two dinim in Esedei Chalaisa say, there's Esedei Chalaisa say in Kol HaTorah that's a Tchiyah Mitzad Gavra, and there's a Halacha Misuyim Esedei Chalaisa say by Yibum, and we mentioned by Mitzorah as well, since there's a mitzvah specifically with this Yavama, with this Mitzorah, so therefore the Tchi is Klal, Klapi the Cheftza, and it's Mate even the Cheftza the Surah. So you could say that specifically by Mitzorah and by Yibum will pass Tchiyah even on the Gemar Bia and on the Leasar, because the Tchiyah is Chal on the Cheftza. It's not like all the Tchiyahs that the whole Tchiyah is on the Gavra. Mashinkan over here is Chal on the Cheftza Mitzad Atzmo. Therefore, even the Gemar HaMaisa could stel sich zu to the Tchiyah. Moving further, the Gemara says, Zeisumeres Rubik Kula is Midarais, over the fact that it says there has to be Megaleach Kuloi specifically by Nazir, however, call it Kulo, Rubois Kekuloi. I the Shurim from a Mishur that brings from a barrel that learns that Korchi see that the mitzvah's Giluach is on the Rosh, and therefore passes Allah of Rubik Kekuloi. But if the mitzvah would be on Kol Sar Visar, so therefore wouldn't pass the Allah of Rubik Kekuloi Bechlal. Ein Shuvas Binyan Siyan. They ask, why do you need a limud mesuyim for Rubik Kekula? The Gabe and Giluach, typically, is Allah and Kol Teikula, the Rubi is Kekula, and Allah Bitter Baroiv, Nazlida and Basaroiv. So, why do you need a limud mesuyim over here? So, he explains that the halacha of Roiv and Kol Teikula is specifically when the meat is misnaged to the Roiv and contradicts the Roiv, so the Geder of Rubik Kuloi and Bitter Beroiv is that the Miyat is bottle and stellt sich zu to the Roiv. That's only when there's a snagdus, like there's a Roiv of a Sanhedrin, so it's mevatel against the Miyat of the Sanhedrin, so you go Basaroiv. However, over here, there's no Miyat that contradicts the Heter. Therefore, it doesn't pass the Algemein Aloha of Azlin and Basaroiv. So therefore, you need a Svar Mesuyim over here. That you go Basaroiv, and he says in Vul like that. The Shidduch Bet says that the Gemara over here is a specific Aloha Lagabe Giluach of Payas, that even if you not megalech all the Payas, nevertheless it's considered an Issa of Giluach, and it's not Aloha called Terikula. V'ayin Shamoid, I know it's Meretz Chias. V'ayin Sham. Moving further on, the Gemara has a Shaila for Nozir was Megaleach and left over 2 Cyrus, and afterwards was Chazim Megaleach, those 2 Cyrus, are you Mekayim the mitzvah of Giluach or not? So Ayin Meforish and Taisis that learns afterwards you Megaleach those 2 Cyrus, and the Gemara Shaila is that since the other Cyrus already grew, so the Shaila is if you commit starve the Giluach of these 2 Cyrus to the previous Giluach. The Achronim asked that it's very hard to understand the Rambam that doesn't bring the case in our Gemara. The Rambam says that if you megaleach all the Cyrus except for the 2 Cyrus, and then afterwards you megaleach all the Cyrus again, you yotzi de giluach. And the Kesef Mishnah asks, why didn't the Rambam bring the case of our Gemara? So the Karen Oyer learns that the Rambam learned similar to what's Mavu in the Shitting Betzis in our Sugya, a different pshat in the Sophic of the Gemara, that the Sophic of the Gemara is not that afterwards you megalech those 2 Cyrus that you weren't megalech the first time, rather you megalech all the Cyrus, and the Sophic of the Gemara is since you already megalech all the Cyrus except for the last 2, so therefore it can't be in the Skayim anymore, even if you megalech another time, since the Cyrus that grew Bikdushas Nazirus, you megalech and you weren't Yotzi de Chivasoi, so therefore it's Ma'uvish and Yachaliskin and you can't megalech again. So that's how the Rambam learned the Gemara, and the Rambam learns Yotzi de Chivasoi. But the Karen Ari asked, that's still schwer because the Gemara wasn't pushed the suffix. So how could the Rambam paskin the Yotzi the mitzvah Giluach? Ein Oiden the Karen Ari asked another kasha, why did the Gemara clear the Shilas specifically by Anozir, not by Mitzorah? So he says that by Mitzorah, since the Giluach is Ma'akiv, the Gemara didn't clear, and the Gemara holds you not Yotze, and specifically by Nozir, that's only for Mitzvah Ba'alma, it's not Ma'akiv. The more clear the Sophic, that you should be able to Yotze by Mitztarif. The first Giluach with the original Giluach, or do you say that the 2 Cyrus that are left over come on the Lassa, and it's not in Skayim, the Giluach? Ein Chazon Ish learns the opposite of the Karanoyer, and he says, by Mitzorah, since you cut all the hair, you definitely Yotzi de Chivasei, and specifically by a Nozir. Since you need Havoras Peras, the more is clear you're not Yotzi de Chivasei, because at the time you cut the last hairs, the first hairs grew back. I the Shurim from David Soloveitchik that's Ma'irich in our Sugya, and he asks, what's the understanding of the Sophic of the Gemara? Since the hairs grew back before you cut the last 2 hairs, how could you mitzvah the first Giluach to the second Giluach? So he says it could be the Tzad of the Gemara is that the mitzvah Giluach of a Nazir is to cut the hairs that were grown Bikdushas Nazirus. So since You Megalech, the original hairs and the last two hairs, so all of the Cyrus that were grown Bektusha were cut, so it's Shapim and Stariv, and David is Meirich declare interesting suffix on the Tzad of Gemara that you're not Yoitza, and according to Rashi and Tosis, only if you Megalech all the Cyrus Yoitza is the original Giluach, a kiyum of Giluach of a Nazir, or it's not Niskayim Giluach of Nazir B'chlal. And he says there's many nafkaminas to this suffix. First of all, nafkamina is if the original Giluach, he was over the Isser of Giluach. And another nafkamina David says is if the original Giluach would be Soiser, the main Naziris. And another nafkamina declares if the original Taglachas, if the Cyrus needs Shiluach Tachas Adoid, and if it's a kiyum of the mitzvah of Giluach that it needs Shiluach Tachas Adoid. And another nafkamina declares if the Cyrus are also Bahana. And he says it's Mvu and the Besgroven Sefer, tremendous Yisoid that there's two independent halachas. In the Isuri Hana of the hair of a Nazir, there's one halacha mitzad the Cyrus that will godel Bekdusha, and that's specifically at the time that you are Bekdusha as Naziros. However, after it's Pakad Naziros, it's Pakad Bekdusha Cyrus. So over here, you won't have that Isuri Hana. But besides, for the fact that the Cyrus who godel Bekdusha mitzad, the chiyuv of the shiluach tachas adoid is mechayiv that the Cyrus are also bahanos over here. If the teglachas is bichlal, giluach of a nozeh, so bichal is on the Cyrus.